Yo, what's up? It's been a little minute, but just definitely wanted to share something that I've been inspired by. So when I was a when I was a child, I always used to watch like gangster movies with my dad. Um, we share a similar background. My dad was in a gang back when he was younger, and so was I. I joined a gang maybe when I was about like 15, definitely active when I was like 16. But that was just a normal thing, like where I'm from, and it was more of an association thing. Like essentially, I started like gang banging with the kids that I grew up with, and it was just a normal thing. So it didn't seem too taboo, and of course, we were always told not to join the gang and all that, but it was just a regular thing growing up. But today I want to talk about like association, like who you hang out with, and what really motivated this was I was watching a Bronx Tale the other day, and they have the famous quote, "The saddest thing in life is wasting talent." And back then, like it. It went in and out to the ear, you know what I mean? Because I didn't know what talent was, and I didn't really understand anything like that. Like I knew it was a dope and like had a deep message to it, but like it still didn't strike a chord to me. But what's I don't know if you want to call it a coincidence or what, but I know like the main actor, his name, I don't know his real name, but C. Calogero, like the dude that played his role, this dude ended up getting like fucking like 10, 15 years in prison for, I think, he got caught up in a cop being murdered. So I don't know if it was like a undercover cop or crooked cop, or I'm not too sure what it was, but he ended up getting murdered, and Kalojiro went to prison. And I seen an interview with him the other day, and he still kind of has similar features, same voice, but he's getting older. Is going bald. You know what I'm saying? Like life is definitely catching up to him, and it's such an interesting point that he was in a movie and they emphasized like, yo, the saddest thing in life is wasting talent, and you know like things took a turn for the worse with him. But how that has any relevance to what I do is sometimes like on my stories on my IG, I find myself like sometimes I feel like I'm preaching. Like I'll be giving gems, though, you know what I mean? So I am fucking preaching, but I'll be dropping these gems, and like sometimes I feel like I'm on a soapbox and like nobody is listening. But one of my LGs that I got from the music, I've been blessed to meet dudes that are have been in the game, been in the position I am. Um, Same background, come from a gang member background, but the homie told me, he was like, Arzo, he's like, you gotta talk your shit, you gotta drop your gems, you gotta speak your truth, because you never know who's listening, and you never know who's going to take it to effect, and you never know what these guys take from you. You know what I mean? Because when they're living their life, they're gonna remember what you said and doing your thing. But I do that now more than ever. Like I just be dropping my gems to whoever's gonna take them. You know what I'm saying? Like, like they got like the little passage in the Bible that says, "Don't cast your pearls among swine." That's not who I'm looking to talk to. I'm looking to talk to people who are gonna resonate with it, and I can't discriminate who's gonna resonate with it. So that therefore, I throw it out there, and I really just want to reach one person, and I don't know who that is, and I really want to open your mind, open your eyes, and really have you think about who you're associating with and the consequences of that. So I started going to college when I was 20 years old. Uh, I graduated when I was 18 from high school, and when I was 17, I started rapping. Just started going to the studio with one of my younger homies. He was in the same gang as me, and he was rapping. He was maybe like 14, 15, and I would hit the studio. I was like 17, 18. But I ended up doing like, I think like four, maybe five songs, and that didn't last too long. But something like awoke in me, and I had a curiosity in my mind, and I always wondered like what else more could happen from this music in terms of being creative. And everybody that I would listen to, I resonated with because I was listening to like people from like the urban cities, urban parts of the city, which is the hood. You know what I mean? And one day I'd be like, man, like all these people are from the hood, like and they're just doing their thing, like, and they just got better and better and better. Like I definitely had no music background and no kind of fucking talent in the music, but I just love music to where I guess I had an ear and I always knew what sounded good, at least in my interpretation. But I translated that into a skill, into learning how to manipulate sounds, and to get the sound that I wanted, or at least was content with. But aside of that, though, like I started going to college. I went with two homies to go sign up. One day we were just like probably smoking a blunt or something. One of them was like, "Yo, I'm about to go sign up at this school. Y'all want to go with me?" He was a little older. It was maybe like 3, 4, 5 years older than me. But and we were like, "Yeah." And he just got out of prison. So he just got out of prison, and homie he was a rapper too before he went to prison. So I just naturally clicked with him. He was a gang member from a different city, and I met him I met him in my neighborhood through mutual gang members, through family and shit like that. But just back then, my whole network was with gangsters and shit. But uh, after that, I was with my cousin, and he was also a gang member as well. And we were, like I said, we were at the homie's house upstairs in a little studio smoking blunts. We went to college one day, and we just signed up for college, signed up for that debt. You know what I'm saying? And like, I didn't really understand anything of how much debt was going to be or none of that shit. But decided that we signed up, right, and we got laptops, and that was part of like our tuition. It's part of the tuition, so we got laptops. And when I was in class, I just started looking at tutorials on how to make beats, and cause the Mac I had a GarageBand, so I started learning how to make beats while I was in class. And I was always a fast worker with the art because I had like an art graffiti background, and I was an artist since like I was 8. So I would always draw, and I thought that that's what I wanted to do because I was good at it. And it turned out I found out something that I was more passionate about. I wanted to get more better at music and learning how to compose and all that shit. And just getting into music just opened up all kinds of doors for me because um, now I'm more about learning how to grow my brand and my business, and I'll have business partners um, in the music business. You know what I'm saying? So like it the music opened just a whole realm of existence and opportunities. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't know anything about networking and social networking and things like that, and the importance of a network. And what I'm making this video is for is because I really want you guys to think about you guys' network and think about who you guys hang out with. And back to the college story. So we're in college, right? And I'm making beats, and I'm starting to meet new people. And then 4 months into making beats, I get on my first beat battle. And at my first beat battle, I meet the first artist that I started working with, and we probably had like a good like 4 or 5 year run of traveling together and meeting new people together. And we were roommates for a little while. As far as like I was sleeping on his couch, but we definitely got to go to New York to LA together. That was my first time going to both those places, and it was all through music, and it was all through a good cause, and it was definitely some life memories. But I also want to talk about some other memories that maybe didn't have a good turnout, but they were involved in music. So one of my neighbors, he uh, he was also one of the gang members too for my gang, and I know him since he was a little kid, like 6, 7, 8 type. You know what I mean, like a little kid, and he also was a gang member too. But anyways, he ended up, you know what I mean? Time passed, time passed. He ended up getting into college, and he ended up getting a laptop as well. And then he also started making beats, and he's definitely, I believe, he was influenced by me and the music we would listen to. We would all listen to like boom bap and East Coast shit and chopping samples. So he bought an MPC 500. He started buying records, and he bought that off the rip. Like I was still making beats on my laptop. He was buying drum machine and records and shit. I was sampling off YouTube. But he was just like so excited to do it and so excited to learn that he just jumped into it, right? And to me, I was like, that's fucking dope, right? And he would literally live like a few houses down, and I would go wake up and be like, yo, check out this bass line I just laced. Check out this sample I just chopped. And you know what I mean? Like, we would just show each other tricks, go to his house, smoke blunts, and his parents were cool with us making beats there, making noise. They didn't mind at all. So um, I was 20 when I signed up for college, but after like my first or second year, I noticed that I wasn't hanging out like on the block as much as I used to. I wasn't hanging out with my homies like I used to, because before then I would like when we were in high school, it was all about going to high school, getting out, hit the fucking block, kick it, maybe sometimes to 5 in the morning. Uh, you know what I mean? Go to school, fucking at 8. You know what I mean? Like it was. I was always on the block, always on the block, ready to get something popping, ready to handle some shit, ready to trap, ready to fucking fight, ready to bang. All that fuck shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I was with it. I was with that program, and it was because the people I associated with. You know what I'm saying? Like the people I associated with were that's what they were about, and that's what I was about. You know what I mean? That's what I was about. And matter of fact, I took things I believe to like the next level because I never started problems with people, but I always like found myself initiating like retaliation, like, oh, let's go handle that. You know what I'm saying? Like on some shit that had nothing to do with. But I think it was because like I was just committed to the cause. I was committed to the family, to the hood. You know what I'm saying? Like I was committed to that. That was my family. And if anybody had a problem with one of my brothers and shit, like it was my problem now. So that was the mentality I had back then. Uh, so I slowly found myself not kicking it with the homies no more. You know what I mean? And as we started to get older, you know what I mean, everybody's experimenting, and I started experimenting with psychedelic drugs, mushrooms, LSD at a young age, maybe like 17, 18, 19, 20. You know what I mean? So my vibe started to change, and I was more on like the music, wavy, peace. I started to get into books, law of attraction, just things like that, like new age teachings. I went through that phase, and I definitely just started to get a different train of thought going into my consciousness, and I just started to look at things different. And I remember being like 22, 23, and I'd be at the trap house, and maybe I was doing a little thing, but I was there nonetheless. But I would be in there making beats, and I just felt so out of place. Like I would think to myself, like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, what am I doing here? Like, motherfuckers are cutting up crack, cooking it. Motherfuckers are cutting up a little bit of meth, and bagging it. You know what I mean? And I'm there with my homies and shit. They're making their money and shit. Like at that time as well, though. Like that's when I noticed my homies they were experimenting as well on drugs, but they were doing perks. You know what I mean? They would do the little perks, pop the pills. And, you know what I mean? At first, it started like they started smoking a blunt laced with the perk, right? And that's how it starts. And they would go outside and go smoke. They would do it behind my back. You know what I mean? Like, cause they knew I was always like the big brother, and I would be like, "Yo, what the fuck y'all doing?" You know what I'm saying? Like, "Oh, that shit's whack," or like, "You a fucking junkie." You know what I mean? I would just talk shit like that, like, "Oh, that shit's whack." Like, why the fuck you doing that? So they would start to do these things behind my back because they know I would be like, "Yo, that shit is corny. Like, that shit's garbage." They knew I would. They knew I was that type of person. So slowly and slowly and slowly, they would step outside, or you know what I mean, start doing shit behind my back. But that shit started happening when we had our separation. Like I would go months without kicking it, or maybe like 2 months without kicking it. But every once in a while, since I was from the gang, I was from the block. You know what I mean? I knew that there's definitely consequences of not fucking coming around and showing face because motherfuckers be petty and shit. But that's another story. But they started doing different drugs and shit. You know what I mean? Doing coke, doing pills, partying, and all the alcohol and shit. And I wasn't doing any of that. I was just like, I'm not with that. Like, I was just on a different vibe. You know what I'm saying? And essentially, my little neighbor homie, right? And he was kicking it too on the block, right? So all my homies started getting into pills, and it was pills that did it, right? That kicked this shit off, but uh, we were all of the hip hop shit though. We were all of fucking bumping Mobb Deep, and we were listening to Little Brother and Ninth Wonder, and we were listening to instrumentals, all in the trap. You know what I mean? All this conscious hip hop, quote unquote. Like we would listen to it, and uh, it was just. I was just like, at that point in my time, I was just like, yeah, like fucking hip hop, like it keeps me out of trouble, just kept me out of trouble, and kept me out the trap. And when I was like my first year, I think I probably sold the beat, and I was just like, yeah, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to make my money. I feel I felt good making my money selling my beats. Like there's no feeling like that. So just turning nothing into something was like really really big for me, and it just really motivated me to create my business now. But I was already doing that before I actually had a legal, legit business and LLC and the EIN number and business partners and shit like that. But going back to my homie, right? So he's learning how to make beats and he's doing his thing, right? And let's just say 5 years pass. So now I'm about 26, 27. Um, my homies that I was hanging out with, that I grew up with since we were 5 years old, from preschool to elementary to high school. Um, Now these guys are smoking the pills now, and eventually they started slamming heroin. Like they started slamming heroin, and they kind of stuck together. You know what I mean? And I was just completely like with the whole new circle. I already went through my trials and tribulations with the hood, and you know what I mean. And I had to make the smart decisions, and basically I just chose to like just to keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? Like I came in a situation to where I was just like, all right, like I basically got jumped and shit, and I was at a cross point to where I'm like, all right, either I'm gonna smoke all these motherfuckers and start a war, or I'm gonna just take a L and go to New York. Like I had a trip to New York like 2 days later, right? And so what I just thought, was like, fuck, I'm going to New York, right? So I went to New York and had a beat battle there. Met fucking like DJ Premier, Illmind, and fucking Rook from Justice League and Symbolic One. Definitely a life changing experience for me doing the beat battle out there with I Standard, and he just played a whole that experience played a whole like it was like an archetype for like my mainframe. It just played it had a deep imprint on my psychology. But moving on to my homies though, like none of these guys were just down bad. They were just down bad on their addictions, and their network was still the same. And who I was associating with different people, right? And my younger homie, my neighbor, right, that was making beats. He just got down bad as well. He had got caught up into some street shit, on some hood shit, shootings, all that shit. That shit didn't go bad. I think he hit a depression, and then he started really using the heroin and stealing from the families, all this shit. I would say like 2 years ago, maybe 1 year ago, he got shot like around the corner from our house, and he got shot, and now he's paralyzed. Now he's paralyzed, and I don't like, we don't even talk. Like it's been years since I've spoke to him, but nowadays it's like I don't even know what to say sometimes nowadays. But uh, I just really that's why I drop these gems, yo. Like, cause I really want the young producers out here to really think about who you're associating with. And one thing I always did was I always knew with my intuition and my logic who to disassociate with before it was too late. And I really want you guys to think about who you guys hang out with and think about where that's going and think about the future and think about the consequences of what you're doing, the cause and effect of what you're doing, the fruits of your labor of what you're doing, and the people you hang out with, and think about, is that what you want? Is that what you want? Is that what you want? If your circle is about gangbanging, you're gonna go to prison, or you're gonna fucking die, or you're gonna get fucking hurt. You know what I'm saying? Or if you're about hustling, you know the consequences of that. Like you're gonna go to prison, you're gonna catch an addiction, you're gonna be used from people, and you might get robbed. You know what I mean? You could get hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like these are all consequences of that type of lifestyle, and it's all good. It's all good until it happens that one time. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, that's that one time is all it fucking takes, and that's really what I'm trying to emphasize to you. To all the young peas out here, like it just takes that one time or that one person. Like motherfuckers are hustling nowadays. Motherfuckers are snitches. Motherfuckers snitch on themselves. Like hustling back then, I was just so like discreet about my shit. Like I was never too like ostentatious and flaunting what the fuck I do. You know what I'm saying? Like I was kind of ashamed to be a drug dealer and shit, but it was just I had to make my money that way. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have to, but I was just so used to it. Like I started hustling at a young age. Before I was even legally able to work, I was hustling and I started making money. And I guess I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit. You know what I'm saying? Like I've always wanted to go get it and see what I could get, how much I could get, but it all translated into me being a business now because now we're in sales, now we're selling beats, now we're selling services, now we're selling expertise, you know what I'm saying? But back to my homie, right? Now he's paralyzed. Now he's paralyzed, and I wouldn't say it's too late for him, but to anybody that can prevent some shit now, yeah, sometimes you gotta separate yourself so you can elevate. You gotta separate yourself so you can elevate, and you have to disassociate yourself with people before it's too late. Because for reals, I would hate, it would hurt. It would probably break my heart just to see like anybody that I work with now at where I'm at and giving all this information to my homies because when I'm with my younger homies, I gotta give it to them. I gotta put my foot up the ass as far as like, yo, this is how it is. This is what it's been. This is what might happen. You know what I mean? And not that they're doing anything bad, but really though, you know what I'm saying? Only they know what they're doing, and I really want to just connect this message to one of you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like fam, like don't like. I'm gonna say this: disassociate yourself with certain individuals before it's too fucking late. Before it's too late, because if you get into some shit, my advice is not gonna be any good because I'm not a fucking lawyer. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm really trying to save one of y'all motherfuckers from getting paralyzed, getting a drug addiction, going to prison, getting killed, getting hurt. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why I always tell y'all, stay busy. You know what I mean? Educate yourself. Try working that discipline. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not perfect at any of that shit, but like, I'm working on these things slowly and over time. I've got to cultivate my mind. You know what I mean? And I'm at the point now where I'm 28 and I'm just trying to work on my mind, body, and my spirit. You know what I'm saying? So they can all be in accordance with what I'm doing, so I can go ahead and prosper. And really, though, what it comes down to is it comes down to discipline. So when I get this money, I don't act like I got fucking lucky. You know what I'm saying? Like I won the fucking Powerball or some shit, or somebody gave me an inheritance. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just looking to keep prospering. You know what I'm saying? And inspire people, and really just stay inspired. You know what I'm saying? And I'm really I feel obligated to share my story because I'm so blessed to be here, and I have a I have a I'm blessed to be with my family, and I'm blessed to have certain people around me, and so I feel obligated to pay it forward to people, and especially all the young peers doing that are part of the game. You know what I'm saying? Because we all doing the same similar things as far as creating. I'm just trying to show y'all how to think about your next 5 steps. You know what I'm saying? Think about your next 10 steps. Think about your future. Think about where you want to be in 5, 10 years. Think about where you want to be when you're 50 to 40. And I know a lot of people don't do that, and a lot of people preach like, yo, you gotta live in the moment and this, that, and the third. And I know how it is to do that, but for real, though, I've been really planning on where I'm at now since I started, and where I'm at now. I don't. It's not a coincidence. I just didn't just wake up here. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just all part of my plan, and um, it's going well. I gotta say it's going well, and I'm really optimistic, and I'm motivated, and I'm inspired to just keep going to see where it goes. And I'm gonna say this: if everything's cause and effect, you know what I mean? Like everything's cause and effect, and you gotta be just really conscious of yourself, be aware of yourself, and really get to know yourself. And a lot of people are distracted, and a lot of people are don't give a fuck. Just to keep it simple, they're content. They got work on Monday, get paid on Friday, get fucked up, go to the club, all this, that, and the third. Do it again, do some drugs. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. Like, there's so much, way more to life, and if you want to prosper and shit, like don't do that. Like that shit corny as fuck to me. Like, and I know you see all these like rappers on TV getting drunk and getting fucked up and all this shit, but that shit's fucking corny. Like that's just my opinion though. That's my opinion. That's my opinion, and y'all take it how you want. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I'm fucking Ned Flanders and shit. You know what I mean? Every once in a while, I go to the strip club. You know what I'm saying? Every once in a while, I might eat some shrooms. You know what I mean? But I haven't in a long time. I haven't in a minute. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying I'm a fucking saint. I'm just here to give you guys this information so y'all can choose and pick what you want from it. But all you young producers, saddest thing in life is wasting talent, son. Like for real, bro. Like I just seen a homie waste that shit, throw it away, and homie's paralyzed now. You know what I mean? And that shit fucking hurts. That shit hurts me. That shit hurt me. You know what I mean? Like, and it would make me sad to see that happen to one of you guys, especially someone that I know, that. And you had me talking all this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like what I'm saying now, I always tell my younger homies and shit, but back then I was in a different mind state and I separated myself. So I didn't really get to talk to him and really tell him how much I cared, you know what I mean? But I care now, and I have to say something because I care about you guys, and I really want to see you guys win. And uh, your association, your network, who you hang out with, trust me, you're gonna give in to that peer pressure. If you're hanging out with 4 millionaires and you're doing certain things, you're gonna feel obligated to do what they're doing as well. If they're reading books, they're working out, they're doing yoga, you're gonna be like slowly give in to doing those things. And on the contrary, if you're hanging out with motherfuckers that's doing credit fraud, robbing motherfuckers, doing drugs, addiction, doing heroin, trust me, you're gonna start doing one of those things, and eventually, all you guys are gonna be doing the same thing. Same thing. Trust me. It may seem fun right now, but all runs come to an end. And especially these ones. These runs don't stop. They crash. You know what I'm saying? Like they hit the fucking wall and the shit hit the fan, you know what I mean? Like, don't be that person. Trust me, you don't want to be that person. And I really just wanted to reach out today. And I usually don't get in front of the camera and start dropping these gems, but I care too much just to keep it inside me. I care too much to just let you digress, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to say this, keep moving forward. Disassociate yourself with certain people before it's too late. And I'm going to tell you this, I'm going to say this one thing. Like, motherfuckers can be cool as fuck. They'll be cool as fuck. Funny, you know what I mean? They got the charisma, they got the wit, you know what I mean? They got the jokes, they got that smoothness. They got the money, you know what I'm saying? They got the girls. They can be cool as fuck and still not be about shit. And waste your time. They can be cool as fuck and waste your fucking time. They can be cool as fuck and don't want to see you prosper more than them. Trust me. They can be cool as fuck and envy you, bro. Like, don't get it fucked up, man. Like, I'm telling you. People can be nice, but that don't mean shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, people can open up their door and misery loves company, motherfucker. So always remember that. Always remember that. Just because somebody's nice to you don't mean that they want the best for you. You know what I mean? Like they're just telling you what you want to hear. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you what though. Learn to disassociate yourself from these people. Trust me. And read some fucking books, you know what I mean? Watch some lectures. Get some of this fucking game, bro. Like, we in the game, and the more game you got, the more uncommon information you got, the more you're gonna prosper, bro. Like, I'm telling you, I'm in AZ right now. I'm about to go prosper in LA. Like, trust me, I'm on my campaign, and I've been prepping since I was fucking 20, you know what I mean? Even before that, it's my whole life. Preparation is my purpose, created my purpose. I know my why, I know what the fuck I want, and I know who I don't want to be around. You know what I mean? So it's not that I don't want to be around them, it's just that I don't want what comes with their territory. You know what I mean? Like, when I see people, it's always love, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm on my shit, and people, you know what I mean? They're only going to listen to what they're ready for. They're only going to comprehend what they're ready for. And I know there's somebody out here that needs to hear this message, so this message is for you. So I'd like to say thank you for your time and peace.